Hello and welcome to Select 10. If you feel like you've seen every science fiction movie there is, then this video may help you discover some of the best ones you haven't seen yet. These recommendations will include several old, underrated, and a few recently released sci-fi films that are still unknown to sci-fi fans. Now let's start the video. Number 10. ARQ. It is a 2016 sci-fi action film directed by Tony Elliott. The plot centers on Renton and Hannah, two people who find themselves in an endless loop and keep experiencing the exact same event countless times. The movie chronicles their attempts to escape the loop and their encounters with masked attackers who are after an unknown power element that has the potential to protect mankind. Although the idea of a time loop is hardly new, the story tries to present it from an alternate viewpoint and keeps you interested as you make progress with the protagonists to solve the riddle. Given its limited budget, the film's CG effects are amazing, and the compact home scenario improves the suspense and feelings of isolation while also adding to the general tone of the film. But the film is not without issues, the story is unclear, and the conclusion begs for an explanation that the viewer does not get. All things considered, it is worth seeing if you enjoy time loop-themed stories. Number 9. Brightburn. It is a superhero sci-fi horror film directed by David Yarovesky. For viewers of superhero movies, this movie can be summed up in one phrase. What if Superman turns evil? That's the question this movie addresses. The story revolves around Tori Breyer, whose desire to become a mother becomes a reality when Brandon, a strange newborn boy, arrives. However, as Brandon approaches youth, a dreadful evil begins to develop within him, and Tori starts to have severe worries about her son. The craziness begins when Brandon attempts to take action on his confusing wishes, putting those who are nearest to him in serious danger. The most impressive aspect is Jackson's terrifying performance, and the film features a few truly frightening scenes that keep you on the edge of your seat. The story is underdeveloped, with only one plotline followed throughout the entire film, and there aren't enough plot points or opportunities for character growth. The film's ending is unusual, as is the film's overall concept, which combines the superhero genre with horror and sci-fi to look into the evil side of a superpowered character. Number 8. Tomorrowland. It is a sci-fi mystery film directed by Brad Bird. The plot revolves around Casey Newton, an upbeat girl who uncovers an unexplained link that takes her to a modern planet known as Tomorrowland. In this aftermath, Casey sets out on an exciting quest to discover the mysteries of Tomorrowland, a location in both space and time, with the help of a brilliant scientist named Frank Walker. The plot depicts a promising, modern society with innovative technology, stunning scenery, and captivating interaction between the two characters keeps the audience interested the entire time. The idea of optimism and the value of action vibrates throughout the film, making the film more than a standard sci-fi adventure. Nevertheless, the film's screenplay is asymmetrical, with some stories developing too quickly and others too slowly. Even though the storyline is not flawless, this entertaining science fiction adventure is nonetheless worth viewing. Number 7. Safety Not Guaranteed. It is a 2012 sci-fi comedy film directed by Colin Trevorrow. The story revolves around a team of newspaper workers who look into an online advertisement looking for a time-traveling partner. As they enter into the mystery realm of the ad's creator, they find unexpected associations and begin on a journey of self-exploration. In the midst of all of this, Darius, an intern who gets embroiled in the inquiry, is the central focus of the main narrative. The plot is absolutely unusual, and the incorporation of time travel as an excuse for looking at topics of belief and isolation is exceptional. The writing is clever and sentimental, with solid characters and true moments of comedy and passion. The film is more story-driven than action-packed, thus, anyone seeking an action-packed flick may be disappointed. All things considered, this is an underappreciated hidden science fiction gem that is quite remarkable. Number 6. Selfless. It is a 2015 science fiction action thriller film directed by Tarsem Singh. This has to be a never-before-heard Ryan Reynolds film for you. Although it is clearly not on the same level as the movies he is making now, this one is really interesting. The story centers on a seriously sick man, Damien Howell, who undergoes the experimental surgical process known as shedding. His awareness is transferred into Ryan Reynolds' young and stronger body during the operation. As Damien cherishes his restored youth, he starts to learn horrible mysteries regarding the history of his freshly acquired form. The core concept prompts arguable questions regarding personality, destiny, and the method's consequences. However, the plot's mystery becomes lost in the story's poor implementation, which also makes it predictable. It is a film for people looking for a visually appealing sci-fi experience, and overall, it is quite fascinating. Number 5. Terminator: Dark Fate. It is a 2019 sci-fi action film, directed by Tim Miller. In case you didn't know, the film is a direct follow-up to Terminator 2: Judgment Day, and it skips the occurrences of prior Terminator films, such as Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis, and takes up the action a few years later. The plot centers on a fresh cast of characters, Sarah Connor and Grace, the cybernetic being, as they attempt to save Donnie Ramos, a young woman, from an exceptionally skilled Terminator who is determined to destroy her. So where is Arnold? Well, that's a fun part and will act as a spoiler, so I will let you find out. The main plot of the movie remains unchanged, with only a few unexpected turns, but the action scenes are terrific and meet the expectations of fans of Terminator movies, from spectacular action sequences, furious hand-to-hand fighting, to thrilling chase sequences. It has it all. Although the story lacks the intensity of the first two films in the series and has a standard plot, it is nonetheless a solid addition to the Terminator series with a nostalgic feel. Number 4. Alienoid. It is a sci-fi fantasy action film, directed by Choi Dong-hoon. The story takes place at a time when aliens have been locking people of their species who disobey the rules inside human minds. The core focus is on Guard, and a robot that monitors this interplanetary prison and punishes any inmates who attempt to escape. But things quickly spiral out of control when some dangerous convicts break out by mistake and plot to wake up the extraterrestrial overlord to conquer Earth. Following the incident, Guard and Thunder attempt to catch them, but their battle creates a time hole that links the 14th and 21st eras. Here in the 14th century, a fighter named Muriok is seeking a mysterious blade. When the interests of these two periods eventually converge, everyone tries to get the blade for different reasons. The transition in the story between past events and present time is enjoyable, since it is followed by exciting action and hilarious humor. The plot is much larger, but to avoid spoilers, this basic idea is sufficient to understand what the film is about. The film has an absurd idea that offers an outstanding blend of science fiction and historical fantasy. However, I found the CGI to be a little underwhelming compared to other major Korean movies. But it is a refreshing story that is well worth watching. Number 3. Triangle. It is a sci-fi horror film, directed by Christopher Smith. Even though it doesn't have the feel of a sci-fi movie, the sci-fi aspect is present in the main plot. It is not a typical science fiction about technology, instead, it is mind-bending science fiction that is difficult to understand. The story follows Jess as she and a group of friends go sailing and come across a bizarre chain of occurrences that traps her in an endless loop of time, forcing her to face the consequences of her past choices. The story has excellent execution and keeps viewers wondering and seeking out what is going on. The idea of a time loop is skillfully used, with each recurrence revealing fresh details and intensifying the sense of suspense. This one is not for everyone, and believe me, the story is highly confusing, and its conclusion will leave you wondering what it was all about. Overall, it is a mind-bending and frightening adventure that will totally knock your imagination. Number 2. Thelma. It is a supernatural sci-fi thriller, directed by Joachim Trier. The story revolves around Thelma, a young woman who relocates to Oslo to get into college. As she adjusts to her new existence, she starts having enigmatic migraines and learns that she has remarkable skills. Thelma is forced to face her hidden impulses as a result of these bizarre events, while she simultaneously learns more about her skills, her prior secrets, and the consequences they have. The movie successfully combines aspects of psychological drama, mystical excitement, and a sense of science fiction as it progressively reveals the unsolved mystery of its plot. Overall, it is a film that does not fit into a single genre. It contains sci-fi, horror, and other elements that capture and provide a scary cinematic journey. Number 1. Frequency. It is a sci-fi thriller film directed by Gregory Hoblet. The story follows John Sullivan, who uncovers a way to contact his late father via an antique radio. But when they collaborate across time and space to crack a murder mystery, they accidentally change the course of events and is forced to figure out a method for correcting it. The main driving element that will capture your interest right away is the father-son interaction. The film expertly blends aspects of crime, tension, and science fiction, and it successfully represents two time periods with keen precision. The film was released in 2000, so don't anticipate any outstanding visual effects. Also, frequency does have one drawbacks, though. The plot gives up some of the possibilities for a more in-depth examination of the effects of time travel, but that can be ignored, as it succeeds in creating an emotionally satisfying science fiction drama that strikes the right mix between excitement, tension, and emotion. It is a must-see for sci-fi fans. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.